concerns here on it, not just one data point, many. And one of them is that DHS is warning not only about possible violence at the rally tomorrow, they're also warning about violence today. How concerned are you?
Well, if I look at this as an intelligence problem, you got to be concerned not only because of what you saw on January 6th, but just as an intelligence problem, you got to be concerned because the threat is dispersed. Look, if you look at a classic intelligence issue facing an extremist group around the world, which is what I did for a living, you look at a group in one geographic space, you can go after their leadership, how they recruit people, how they train people, and then how they send people out for operations. In this case, if you're looking at an intelligence target, extremism across the United States, find me one group, find me one region. It's across America in 50 states. It's small groups in basements. It's multiple groups. It's individuals. So you can sit there and say, we're going to collect a lot of intelligence and prepare what we can at the Capitol. But there is no way, Brianna, you can collect on independent actors in 50 states across America simultaneously. You can't do it.
You talk about leadership, Phil. It is interesting overnight that the former president put out a statement that said the hearts and minds are with those arrested on January 6th. So what is the impact of a statement like that from, as you say, leadership?
It's not interesting. It's more than interesting. It's critical. I have never followed a major extremist movement that didn't have a leader who presented a vision. It's not only someone to organize, someone to fundraise, someone to train people. It's someone who tells a person in the foxhole, look, there's a bigger world out there. This is how I want you to think about the world. This is why the world is your enemy. All of these groups are looking out, including groups I followed overseas, are looking out, and the leadership of those groups will define an enemy. In this case, for example, it's Democrats who stole the election. And then they energize a movement of people who would not otherwise be energized. Let me make this very clear. I do not think that there would be any significant movement without a leader, and that leader is the former president. Stop, done.
You think it's dangerous, what he's saying?
Yeah, because if you look at the number of people involved in this, even if you have only 700 people coming to the Capitol, think of how many people do they represent? 500,000? 5 million? And a percentage of them is going to say the democracy is under such threat because of the guidance they're receiving from leadership. Democracy is under such threat that I have to commit an act of violence. There's a sliver of people who are extremists who think that they're being inspired to do something violent. I mean, it's mathematics, John.
Like you just said, this is a conundrum because you need intelligence really in every state, and that's just impossible to really have a good sense of what the problem is. And the same organizer of tomorrow's rally has actually planned similar rallies in 15 other states, Phil, over the next month. What are your worries there?
I tell you, one of my biggest worries, it's not doing the counterterrorism piece and the intelligence piece, it's the political piece. Remember, if you're looking at an extremist organization, typically when you're going in for a congressional hearing, and I did so many of those I can't count them, the Congress is going to say, go get them, son. Don't let them get us before we get them. In this case, going ahead 6 months, a year, 2 years into 2023, you're asking the FBI and state and local to investigate individuals who will be going to political rallies. And politicians are going to start saying, let me get this straight. You've got informants at my Stop the Steal rally. You've got informants at a political event. That's a free speech violation. You're pitting law enforcement against politicians. And I'm telling you, I don't know how you navigate that if you're state and local investigating or if the FBI. It's going to get ugly, I think.
Yeah, look, law enforcement is bracing for this today. They're going to be bracing for this in states here in the coming days as well. Phil, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks.
This morning, the FDA is expected to decide whether Americans need booster shots. The answer, though, is not clear-cut. Plus, Cuba takes the lead as the first country to start vaccinating